ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by and tuning in to tonight's weekly intel report for the week of March 8th, 2023. Report from earlier today, the city of Bakhmut, again in Ukraine's east, could fall in the next few days. This came from NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg. He said, what we see is that Russia is throwing more troops, more forces, and what Russia lacks in quality, they try to make up for in quantity. They have suffered big losses, but at the same time, we cannot rule out that Bakhmut may eventually fall in the coming days. On the 4th of March, 2023, the Russian Ministry of Defense released a video of a rare visit to Ukraine by Russian Defense Minister Sergey Shoigu. This is a realistic possibility that this was partially in response to recent footage of the owner of Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, visiting his fighters on the front line. Wagner is in a high-profile dispute with the Russian Ministry of Defense, and Shoigu is likely sensitive to being compared to Prigozhin. Says here the U.S. military is studying whether it's possible to integrate advanced Western air-to-air missiles with Ukraine's Soviet-era fighter jets in the latest attempt to jury-rig old platforms with new capabilities ahead of what's expected to be a bloody spring. In the temporarily occupied city of Mariupol, Russian invaders are now using the new markings on their military equipment, a triangle on top of an infamous Z. We're spotting the use of new markings in the latest enemy convoys, a triangle on top of a Z. Prior to that, convoys had a V marking or no markings at all. The circle in the triangle has not been observed since early winter. Russian President Vladimir Putin is likely to further upgrade the Kremlin's arsenal of long-range nuclear-capable missiles in order to deter Kyiv and its powerful Western allies. The warning from the nation's top spy masters come as Russia intensifies its now year-long fight in Ukraine and as Putin threatens to withdraw from a key nuclear arms treaty. Throughout its invasion of Ukraine, Moscow has continued to show that it views its nuclear capabilities as necessary for maintaining deterrence and achieving its goals in a potential conflict against the U.S. and NATO, and it seems its nuclear weapons arsenal as the ultimate guarantor of a Russian Federation. Quote here, heavy losses to its ground forces and large-scale expenditures of precision-guided munitions during the conflict have degraded Moscow's ground and air-based conventional capabilities and increased its reliance on nuclear weapons, the intelligence community wrote. The U.S. intel community warns of complex threats from China, Russia, and North Korea. It says here the U.S. is expected to face a, quote, complex security environment and will need to work to confront two critical strategic challenges, rising powers like China seeking dominance in the global order, and challenges like climate change, which could intersect and intensify their national security implications. Out of Washington, D.C. here, Qin Gang, the new Chinese foreign minister, is not known for his civility, but his remarks on the sidelines of the country's annual parliamentary session on March 7th were particularly stark. During his first press conference since assuming the role in December, he warned that the U.S. and China were moving towards confrontation and that, quote, the future of humanity was at stake. This comes from March 7th from Reuters. North Korea said any move to shoot down one of its test missiles would be considered a declaration of war and blamed a joint military exercise between the United States and South Korea for growing tensions. Kim Jong-un's mysterious sister Kim Jo-young issued a rare public threat to the U.S. on her brother's behalf, hinting that she might be gaining influence in the country. China took down its own balloon after transiting Latin America around the same time an alleged spy balloon from Beijing was crossing the United States earlier this year. The head of the U.S. Northern Command revealed Wednesday, quote, what I understand is the People's Republic of China actually terminated that balloon in the Atlantic Ocean off the east coast of South America. General Glenn Van Herk told the U.S. Armed Services Committee lawmakers. Taiwan suspects Chinese ships have cut the island's internet cables. Says here, in the past month, bed and breakfast owner Chen Yu-lin had to tell his guests he couldn't provide them with the internet. Others living on Matsu, one of Taiwan's outlying islands closer to neighboring China, had to struggle with paying electricity bills, making a doctor's appointment, or receiving a package. A Chinese fishing vessel is suspected of severing the first cable some 50 kilometers, 31 miles out at sea. 6 days later, on February 8th, the Chinese cargo ship cut the second cable, the NCC had said. I think that's about it. I think that about sums up everything for this evening. If I missed anything, guys, send me a message. You can always PM me on Discord. You can always send me an email. I love reading your guys' emails. I read every comment. I read every message that's sent my way. Sometimes I get bombarded with them, so it takes me a little bit of time to get back to people, so bear with me. But to everybody that tuned in this evening, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Until next time, you are watching Nemico Network.
Nemico.